Well, what a almighty cock-up. What an absolute beauty. Yeah, what a cock-up. Okay, so I'm going to be tackling the skimmer in this video. Now, I've made the main carcass of it, which you can see in one of my older videos. What I need to do now is finalise all of the fittings and bits and pieces before it actually can fit into the wall. Now, my first thing I'm looking at doing is putting a overflow in this. Now, what I'll probably end up doing is drilling a hole through the side here. There is space underneath with a pipe on. Now, what I'm concerned with is with the pond running and the weir that I'll have to put in action, the level in this box will be lower than the actual pond level. So I don't know how well that will work. Will the pond get too high and potentially overflow the glass before this gets to the right height level? I'm not entirely sure. So what I think I might do is put a partition in here, run a smaller weir, and then have the pipe, and I can put a couple of holes in there so that this section will be the true pond height in the pond itself at the glass. So that's one thing I'm thinking of doing. Obviously I need to then get my pond weir made, hole cut out, and I'll see if I can get like an adjustable weir so it can always correct itself. So that's two things, and then the third thing is a hole in the side here for what will be the 4-inch pipe to the drum. Now, what I intend to do is get this skimmer fitted, and then I can run this whole filter system through the skimmer, through the 4-inch, while I move all the media and things over in this side before I need to sort out this bottom drain, because this bottom drain is going to be another big task. I need to change the valves in there and get that routed in. But obviously that will mean shutting down the bottom drain and the pond as is running at the minute. So if I can get it running on the skimmer, then this can keep running, and if I block off the bottom drain, I can swap this all over and the pond stays alive, basically. Right, okay. So first off, I think what I'm going to do is make this partition and get a pipe in here for the overflow, which will obviously feed nicely into this one. After I've done that, I think I'm going to have to remove this skimmer before I can work out the sizes and everything else for the weir sizes and all of that jazz. Right, okay, let's get the overflow section made. So we'll make it quick because the wind's probably quite bad. But with the skimmer all up together, I'm now going to drain this down below the skimmer level so I can start removing the old one. Okay, so not particularly looking forward to this, but you can see now I've got the skimmer fully exposed. What I've essentially done is just put a big hole in the side of this tub to bring the water level right down. None of the stones are exposed, so they're still fully submerged, so they're still working as they should. But if it rains, it's now not going to go any higher than this. This is the new water level. So, right, okay. I'm going to budge this back out the way, try and undo those screws, which they're stainless bolts, but the inside, it turns out they weren't stainless, so they are rotten. So I'm going to have to disconnect that, and I'm hoping to reuse this faceplate, just trim it down a little bit, and I can use that again to seal the new skimmer in. But I'm just waffling now, putting it off. It's time to gain access to this and see if I can get it ripped out today. So that is the skimmer out. You can see the remains of the liner, so I can still use that to reseal it, hopefully with the original faceplate. So that's all good. The bolts were actually, the nuts look grotty, but essentially there was nothing left of them. So the only thing holding that liner to the skimmer was the silicone that I originally put on it. Now I did put some bolts in the side here, but they have completely rotted out as well. I had to basically snap them off to get it out. So well, at least we got a hole, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, quite literally. So the skimmer's off in pieces. Time to grab the new skimmer and just measure it up. Make sure it actually will fit, because obviously if it doesn't fit, I'm in a whole heap of hurt. So let's get it in. Just make sure I got my measurements right. Well, what a almighty cock up. So what I've done, for whatever reason, I've measured between the flagstones and not the actual hole was supposed to fill in. I can't believe it. So I've made the skimmer 49 across the front, and I only got a 45 width hole. So yeah, what a cock up. So I need to now remake this, at least chop a good section off the end of it, so it'll actually fit through. What an absolute beauty. Oh well, I'll get cracking and make it again. At least I got a little bit of leftover plastic. It's not the right thickness, it's way thicker than that, but I'm gonna have to use it. So join me later when I've got a skimmer of the right size. Well, to make it worse, I also forgot to account for the insulation I got in behind there. So balls up on every level on my part. Right, I'm going to finish this skimmer now, get it all going, redo all the wear and everything that I've already done. And then when it is done and I'm happy and I might know that it fits, I'll then come back and I'll show you what it is. So just a mid-project update. You can see I've chopped down this side and I've filled it in, bigger material, but that is now the right width. I've added on an extra 10mm, or that's actually 12mm thick on the top there, and that will allow me to attach the flange for the pond, so that now is thick enough to reach right through to the pond for the insulation. I still need to cut a hole. I'm glad I didn't cut a hole before I chopped the end off, otherwise I would have been a whole world of hurt. I did make the weir, although it wasn't fixed in, which again I need to chop down. And yeah, I can put some holes in here like I mentioned, and that will allow water to get through, and I can set the water level at that point. And then yeah, put a basket in, and obviously some holes to feed the drum filter. So we're getting there. A few steps backwards, but we're getting there. So that's my weir in. I've basically got some old fascia board, and I've just bent it round, and it hopefully will just stop the water getting too far down the sides and round the back or underneath. And then obviously it can come over the top of the weir. It's all on the hinges, and that'll do it. I still need to cut it to the right height, but I don't know what the height's going to be yet. 100% anyway, until it's in there. That's the reason why I've made it detachable. So yeah, that's the skimmer pretty much done. I might skim off some of around the edge here, just so it can fit a little bit nicer under the brickwork, or more so that I can put a lid across the top and it will sit flush with like the top level of the stones up here. So I might adjust that. I might get lazy and throw it in anyway. Right, okay, so now I need to get this in the hole and make a stand for the base, so it can sit all the weight on there basically, before I can think about gluing it in. So back to where I was a day ago. I've made a little table. This is just bolted onto the side of the pond. That is what the skimmer will sit on to take the majority of the weight on the back. I have got a hole, just in case in the future I want to put a hole in the bottom of this skimmer. It will save taking it apart to get to the wood and things like that. So yeah, that's in the future. I'm going to get this skimmer in now, and then I can measure up where this pipe feeds into the side of it to be able to get the hole cut in the side, on the other side, to be able to get the feed in there. Okay, this is the final setup of this filter, or the skimmer. As you can see, I've got a hole in the bottom just in case I need it for a future. There is no hole in the bottom of the skimmer, but yeah, just there, just in case. The skimmer itself, I've got the hole cut out this side. I've got some holes in this side, and that will allow this chamber to fit up for the overflow. I've got an overflow pipe into the main drain, which will obviously feed back into the drain in the floor. So that's ready to go. I've got everything drilled on the front faceplate. Yeah, so, and obviously the big hole to connect onto the 4-inch down there. The weir still needs to be made, or finalised I should say, because I don't know the exact water height in here. So that's why I've made it removable, so I can put it in, measure the water level, and then fix it or adjust it. So yeah, nothing left to do I think now, apart from to get this thing in that hole and get it siliconed in. So that is the skimmer all glued in with a little lid made. Still waiting for it to set. That's going to take a few days I think, according to the packet. So I'll show you inside. That's it all in. Like I say, I do need to make the weir, but I can wait for that. I've got the overflow set up into the drain pipe. Got my 4-inch supply going to the drum filter. I've got my drum waste pipe plumbed in to the drain as well. So that's all ready to go. So yeah, I just need to wait for this sealer to set, and I can just get this thing working and running, because the last thing to test will be the high pressure pipe. So if I can get a pump in there, I can fill this up with water, and we can make sure this whole system works. So yeah, I will get back to you very shortly when this sealer's set. So I think I've lucked out there. Now if you can see the overflow, you should be able to see the water tension just holding it there. That is bang on the overflow level. So that pond is absolutely full. So let me just come over to the pump unit here. As you can see, I have got a pump in there. I've left a twist in this flexible pipe just to allow for extra pipe should I need to get the pump out and service it. It just allows a little bit extra room for manoeuvre there. So that's all in and connected on. So that's ready to go. All I need to do is connect up essentially this into the controller, into one of these, but I need a plug. So I just need to get a plug for that. So I can turn the pump on and get this running through the drum. But if we have a look at the water level, that is where we're sat. So I think I've lucked out on the positioning of that pipe, which is always nice to see. Now I did have a pipe on filling this up, and it was overflowing out of the pipe as fast as the hose was trying to fill it. So I know it's capable of handling a lot of water. Right, okay, so that's good. What I think the last thing I'm going to do, I'll get this pump on, get it connected, and then I'll get it running through the drum. There is a float switch I need to set up for the drum height. And I'll just make sure this whole system works. And that means I will be able to take all of the media out of this tub, switch it over into the biochub, or a tub rather than chub, and the pond will stay running the whole time, and job's a good one, basically. So yeah, that'll be the next task. So I'm going to get a plug on the pump. Let's get it tested out. So at the back of the pond here, I've opened up all of these valves. And at the back, I've got that valve open. So we're all good to go with the pump, which I've got up here. It's just temporary at the moment. And I've got it in the circulation pump socket of the filter control box there. The water height, as you can see there, if I just put that in, we are looking at 17 centimeters, which is what it gives in the description. I just need to set this float switch, but according to this, I need to do that while it's running. So I think there's nothing left to do but to turn this on and see how it goes. Right, let's turn this on. And I actually need to plug it in first. Right, let me plug it in and I'll turn it on. Right, take number 2. I'm actually going to turn my main pump down at the moment to its lowest setting, 40 watts. So that is running slow, because obviously when I get the second pump running, yeah, it's going to be a lot of movement for this time of year. So let's try again. Let's turn this on. We're on. We've got life on the new pump, so that's good. That is doing a slow build up to turn on. Now that is on maximum flow. So I'm just going to turn that down to run at its slowest setting. But that is on, and I've got no obvious leaks on these pipes to begin with. Obviously I'll monitor that as the time goes on. You can see the movement is in the drum filter. And the skimmer, although I haven't got the weir set up, I'm just going to use it for moving water at the moment. You can see it flowing nicely in through there. I'm not bothering with the basket at the moment, because obviously the drum itself will cater for any waste. So yeah, I'm going to set this water height level sensor now, and probably just clean out some of these back bits. Okay, so typically it started raining. I'm getting no leaks, because this all pipework here is new, because it cracked during the winter when I had no water running through it. So I'm just double checking these, but I don't appear to have any water leaking out anywhere, so that's good. I can get this door back on the front here just to take the worst of the weather off of it, so I'm happy with that. Now the skimmer itself is actually acting as a little bit of a skimmer, even though there is no weir in there. You can see it sucking in some surface debris, but obviously when I get the weir in there it'll be more efficient. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that for the time being, because it is obviously going to be my main water feed to the drum when this is gone, while I do the bottom drain. So yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. I'll get all this lid put back on, and we'll have a look inside and make sure it's right under there. So there you can see the amount of flow flowing through the skimmer. The other side is, as you can see, not moving at all, where the water height is, so that's good. I haven't set this water level yet. Now, it appears to be quite a big drop in the instructions of 80 millimeters, which seems like quite a lot of drop for it before it would trigger. So anybody that has got one of these drums, it's a Queenie Koi drum, and let me know where you've set it to. At the moment, I think it's about 50 millimeters drop before the float switch hits the bottom and will trigger a rotation. So yeah, let me know where you set yours to. And this final bit of pipe work, all completely dry, no signs of leaks anywhere, pumps running in there. I've got most of the debris out, but there's always going to be little bits that crop up. I just need to scoop out with a net. So that's it, guys. Skimmer's in, drums running, and we're just making sure this all works before I swap over all the biomedia. So I'm just going to put a few of these covers back on, and I will need to make some covers, but that will be in the future videos. So if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe to the channel, and I will update you when there's been a bit more progress in this filter shed.